Update tungkol sa tulong na ibinibigay ng pamahalaan sa mga naapektuhan ng lindol sa Davao Oriental at ang pagkalat ng influenza-like illness sa bansa. Ating pag-uusapan kasama si Department of Health Secretary Ted Herbosa. Sec Ted, magandang tanghali po at welcome back.
Magandang tanghali, Joey. Magandang tanghali, March. At magandang tanghali sa lahat ng mga nanonood ng Bagong Pilipinas.
Sec, unahin na po natin yung mga naapektuhan po ng earthquake. So ano po yung agarang tugon at tulong ng Department of Health sa mga lugar na naapektuhan ng lindol nung Biyernes sa Davao Oriental at iba pang lalawigan over the weekend?
So yung sa Davao, immediately after the earthquake ng 9 a.m. ng Friday, nag-utos na kami dun sa mga hospital around. We have about 4 hospitals sa Davao region, yung Southern Philippines Medical Center, yung nasa Tagum, yung Davao Regional Hospital, at yung Negros Occidental, Davao Occidental Provincial Hospital. Ang nagpadala ay ang Southern Philippines Medical Center. Nagpadala kami ng Emergency Medical Assistance Team, 28-man team ito. May 4 na doktor at lahat ng staff. At pumunta sila dun sa Manay. They were there early morning ng Manay, the following day, at tinulungan nilang ma-evacuate kasi yung Manay District Hospital, nag-collapse siya. Na-damage siya structurally. Hindi na, dineclare na ng DPWH na hindi na talaga pwedeng gamitin. Luckily, 5 minutes away from that hospital, merong katatayo lang na Super Health Center. And it's our big Super Health Center. So yun ang ginamit na temporary. So sandali lang yung mga tao sa outdoors, sa tents. And then nung nakita yon na hindi pa ginagamit, nilipat namin doon kasi may kuryente, may tubig naman, at saka may personnel na tayo from Southern Philippines Medical Center. Parang 4 hours din yung travel ng team ko to get to Manay. And we flew to Davao yesterday. The President inspected the hospital, the school, may National High School doon sa Davao Oriental, malaking school. Wasak din yung isang building. Structurally damaged, pero hindi naman siya nag-collapse, pero dangerous na. So magtatayo ng bagong school building for that. And then we had our command conference with the President sa Tarragona. That's another city, and that's where the other evacuation, parang encampment was placed by DSWD. Dalawa yon sa Manay at sa Tarragona.
Okay. Sec, kanina po, nabanggit niyo nag-uusap nga tayo, nagaling po pala kayo ng meeting. So, you had a meeting to determine yung mga regarding sa mga structures ng ating mga hospitals sa north, east, west ng mga quadrants. Can you tell us more about what happened in this meeting?
So, yesterday, when I came back, inutos ko dun sa aking Health Emergency Management Bureau Director at sa Director ng Health Promotion Bureau, na-review nga natin yung ating plans for the big one. Kasi nung 2003 pa, nagkaroon na ng study yung JICA about massive injuries and massive damage and massive deaths, many deaths, pagka nagkaroon ng 7.2 magnitude intensity 6 sa Metro Manila. So since that 2003, 2003, 20 years ago na yung study. And we've been making plans. And now, i-readjust uli yung plan because many buildings have propped up. So, tinawag ko lahat ng mga big hospitals ko dito sa Jose N. Rodriguez sa Tala, kaya ako na-late. Sabi ko, reviewin natin lahat ng ating plano. And in Metro Manila, there is a MMDA plan to have several evacuation sites, yung open spaces. Sa Norte, it's going to be the Veterans Memorial Medical Center, may golf course na malaki doon. So that's where we expect people living in buildings to evacuate in case of a big one. And then, of course, magpo-provide kami ng healthcare. And then pina-review ko na rin lahat ng structural integrity ng lahat ng ospital because kailangan ang hospital safe even after an earthquake. So we should be the last building standing. So nagkaroon na ng studies yan before, yung Safe Hospital Program, wherein nagpatulong kami sa mga structural engineers to look at our old buildings and then be able to retrofit them. Yung mga bagong structures naman, of course, they're supposed to be built up to the specs, which should withstand 7.2. So, yan ang mga, and then we talked about increasing surge capacity and also increasing supplies and other preparations. So, nirevisit namin. Mahirap na, sabi ni Secretary Solidum, hindi naman daw related itong mga earthquake. Pero if you ask me, since September 30, nagkaroon na tayo ng earthquake sa Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao, sa iba't ibang fault line. Sabi nila, not all related. We're really in the Pacific Ring of Fire, but the Manila Trench hasn't moved. So if that moves, that's going to be the cause of the big one.
Sa initial assessment na to sa meeting na ito, Sec, ano sa tingin nyo, nabanggit nyo na kailangan yung i-readjust yung plan. So sa tingin nyo, ano yung mga kailangan pang i-readjust at malaking pagbabago ba yung kailangan yung gawin o minor na lang?
Yeah, no, malaki pa kasi marami ng changes in the city itself, in the hospitals themselves, because we built this, I remember, in 2012 or 2013, parang 10 years ago when we did the big one planning. Nag-drills pa nga ito, citywide drills ng MMDA. But we have to revisit
Yes.
Matataas na yung mga buildings sa BGC, ang dami ng mga condo na nag-rise up, and then nabawasan yung mga spaces. Our hospitals also improved because we've been building
Correct.
our hospitals with new spaces since 2012. Since we passed the syntax, dumami yung pera namin, lumaki yung mga hospitals namin. So we need to revisit that. And then, and I also said, kailangan din yung soft preparation wherein yung aming disaster plans ma-review para makaresponde well ang ating mga tao. That means taking care of your own families. I
Correct.
told them, you doctors and nurses, your own family should be secure. Sumunod kayo sa advice ng OCD. Prepare go bags
Correct.
and make sure you have meeting places. Which relatives will they go to? So that if your family is secure, you can be working in our hospital 100%. Kasi mahirap yun. You're in the hospital and you're thinking of your
Tama.
family. Paalisin talaga kita sa hospital. If I'm the hospital director, you take care of your family first. Diba?
Sec, paano po ba natin tinitiyak na ang DOH ay tuloy-tuloy na magbibigay ng serbisyong medikal sa mga apektadong lugar ng mga nagdaang lindol, lalo na yung mga nasugatan o yung nagka-trauma matapos yung pagyanig, sir?
So right now, I think I have about 14 teams now of mental health and psychosocial support. So all our emergency teams, marunong yan ng psychological first aid. So a lot of these patients na naapektuhan ng trauma, whether namatayan ng relative, nawalan ng bahay, became homeless, affected ang businesses nila, will suffer from some form of anxiety and post-traumatic stress. Sabi nga nila, konting alog lang, natatakot na sila with the aftershock. So talagang malaking need yung mental health and psychosocial support. Meron pa tayong reports of school children na hyperventilation syndrome, hinimatay at dinala sa Baguio General. Ito yung sa Baguio noon. 40 of them at the same time. So, we need really to be living in a disaster-prone country. So, kailangan yung emotional resilience ng lahat, pati bata. Serious during drills, during planning. So, very important yan, yung how to treat this acute anxiety reaction, depression, pag namatayan, and then yung may mga thoughts of suicide, we have to really identify them. So malaki ang support ng National Center for Mental Health and all our emergency teams. Hindi naman lahat mangangailangan ng psychiatrist agad. We are also offering that via telemedicine. Kasi ginawa na namin yan sa Israel nung binomba. We actually offered telemedicine psychiatric services to our compatriots in the city of Tel Aviv. So possible siya. So sabi ko, gawin nyo rin yan. If we have internet connection. For encampment, sabi niya, gawan niya ng wash facilities, water, sanitation, and hygiene. Potable drinking water, sanitary facilities. Kailangan may toilets at saka showers. So ito, provide natin dun sa thousands of people living in the different evacuation sites. Ang nakita ko kahapon, si DSUD Chair, Secretary, si Ping Aliling, already have built up in Bogo and San Remigio modular temporary housing, hindi na tent. So they're living in parang modular yung bahay na bungalow. So they also build those in Davao, and they said they'll take almost 4 or 5 days lang and they can build one. So sabi niya, by next week, malilipat na nila from the tents. Nandun ako sa tents, napakainit. Napakainit. Tapos,
kawawa yung mga tao.
kawawa yung mga bata talaga nagpapaypad. Tsaka it's depressing. If I live in a tent, I probably have mental health issues as well.
true.
So, kailangan ma-move natin sila to temporary housing as much normal as possible. May area ang DSWD for kids, para to keep the kids, para may school or may play activity to get their mind off all of this. So, tulong-tulong kami dito. Department of Social Welfare, Department of Public Works, Department of Housing and Social Development,
Whole of
etc.
nation approach na
Whole of
talaga, no,
government
Secretary?
talaga yan, oo.
Sec, dahil magkasunod po yung lindol sa Cebu at Davao Oriental, kinailangan po bang i-augment yung ating healthcare workers? Nagpadala po ba tayo from other provinces?
So far for both, it's the region that's been able to respond. So luckily, Region 7, nagpadala ang Region 8. So tumulong sila sa mental health and psychosocial support. So Region 8 also sent a team. So that's the one in Leyte. So malapit sila to the north, Bantayan and Bogo. Sa Davao naman, it's the Davao Regional Office and the Davao Hospitals responding. Pero nagsabi sa akin yung Northern Mindanao, they ready to relieve. Kasi pag earthquake, Marge, Joey, matagal eh. Kasi homeless yung mga tao eh. Unlike floods, pag nawala na yung tubig, balik na sa mga bayan. Sandali lang tayo. So, very little health issues. Pero itong nakatira sa temporary tent city in Bogo, temporary tent city in Tarragona, they will be staying there for some time until we're able to rebuild their house. Whether fully damaged or partially damaged, hindi pa rin nila matitiran. Diba? So they stay in these centers and we will provide the healthcare sa kanila doon. Tuloy-tuloy. Ro-rotate na lang namin yan. Yung mga hindi affected areas, after about a week, papalitan natin yung mga iba. And then, para hindi rin mga burnout syndrome. Kasi nabe-burnout din yung ating mga responders.
Sec, sa pagbisita ni Pangulong Marcos Jr. kahapon po sa Davao Oriental, ano po ang mga naging direktiba ng Pangulo sa inyo para sa sektor ng kalusugan?
So yung hinanap niya yung mga gamot, no? So nagpadala tayo ng mga medicines. Siyempre, magkakasama na yan, magkakahawahan ng sakit yan, magkakaroon ng diarrhea because of the potable water. So yung gamot, tapos yung hospitals na ready to bring them, no? So yung ambulances and everything. So basically, alam ni President kasi he's a former governor. So when I see him and listen to him responding to a disaster like this, kabisado niya kasi he's been governor in Ilocos and knows what the displaced people need.
Sa ibang usapin naman po, Sec, kamakailan po ay nag-suspend po ng face-to-face classes ang maraming LGU dahil sa pagkalat di umano ng isang influenza-like illness. Una po sa lahat, linawin natin, totoo po ba na ito yung dahilan kung bakit nag-suspend ng klase?
Okay, so I think it's NCR that suspended. There were other regions that were really having higher numbers ng influenza-like illness. For the information of everybody, ang Department of Health through the Epidemiology Bureau, gumagawa yan ng disease surveillance. So yung dengue, sinusundan namin yan. Yung influenza-like illness or ILI. Sa English yan ang tawag namin. Malatrangkasong sakit. Yung ILI, maraming cause yan. Hindi yan isang virus. Hindi kagaya ng COVID-19. COVID-19 lang ang kalaban natin. ILI is a group of diseases na pare-pareho ang symptoms. Sipon, ubo, sore throat, lagnat, sakit ng katawan. But they are different viruses. During this time, the bare months, this is our flu season. It's our ILI season. Talagang dumadami yan. And we have thousands of cases reported. But ang epidemiology kasi may science when to declare it's an outbreak or an epidemic na. Meron ka dapat marong ma-breach. Merong normal seasonal rise tayo. We haven't reached that. We even haven't reached the numbers of last year. Mas madami pang nagkaroon ng flu. But of course, sa people, when they, madaming kids nagkasakit dun sa school nila, yung teacher, yung sabi, maraming school nagkakaroon ng sakit. They see it as alarming. Sa amin, may science in it. No? So it cannot be based on anecdotal reports na, may outbreak or something. So it's not an outbreak, it's the seasonal flu. So there is a curve of all the seasons. And the precautions are the same. Itong pag-suspend ng klase, if you ask me, makakatulong yan. But I wish nag-coordinate lang sila. Kasi nga, syempre, pag nag-declare ka and you say, no classes because of flu-like symptoms, kami ang tatanungin. And then we will caught unaware.
And it will cause alarm.
And then it will cause an alarm. So I think the shortcoming here would have been a conference between and would have come with a common message. Pero naklaro na ng Department of Health, wala pong any type of outbreak na ILI. It's the seasonal flu. It's the season, and we still have to be careful. The public health advice is still wash your hands.
Correct.
If you're sick, stay at home. Do not spread it all over. Diba? Kung no classes yan, baka magpunta rin sa mall yung mga bata. Ito lalo rin magkalat
Ganun
ng
din.
sakit. So ganun din yun. Magkikita sila ng mga barkada nila. Maghahawahan din sila. And then at home, i-isolate yung may sakit para hindi yung magkakapatid, mag-ina, nagkakasakit. You isolate. It's the same as COVID. Wearing a mask will help. Isolating the sick in one room would help. Not sharing your food would help. Kasi that's how the virus spreads. At natutunan na natin to nung COVID. So, the principles are the same. Protect the ill and then hydrate. Hindi naman na-hospitalize ang flu-like ills. Yung malatrang kasong sakit, they usually recover in 4 or 5 days. But if you're elderly, immunocompromised, syempre ganun din. We don't want the infection from the school spreading with classmates and then bringing it home to grandmothers
Yes,
and grandfathers who are sick.
Kawawa naman.
So same principles as COVID, we learned this na. So walang panic. No, number one, walang outbreak ng sakit. So no single virus. Madaming causes yan, iba-iba. May sipon, may rhinovirus, influenza A, influenza B, merong kung ano-anong virus, mahaba yung listahan na yan.
Ayan,
Yeah,
Asik
so-
Joey, malinaw ha, walang outbreak.
Walang
Ayan, narinig na
outbreak.
mismo natin kay Secretary Ted Herbosa.
Kasi yung mga tanong sa social media, magla-lockdown na ba ulit?
Correct.
Kasi nag-no classes.
Panic na kagad, sir.
Actually, the bigger reason, nung kausap namin ng DepEd, the bigger reason was also to secure our kids from this series of earthquakes. They wanted to also check the building. And when they check the school buildings, they'll also sanitize. Kasi
Correct.
totoo namang maraming, hindi ko dinidena yun, na maraming bata na nasa schools na nag-a-absent. Tapos sabi nila, tumataas nga daw yung sales ng decongestant, ng paracetamol in our drugstores. These are actually triggers na dumadami yung cases. So for the public, ingat po tayo. Maybe for those who are not sick, drink your vitamin C, exercise, sleep early, hydrate very well, and then avoid crowded places. The same rules I was saying when I was a COVID advisor. It's the same rules for the flu season.
No, ayan ha, Asik Joey ha, be responsible. But sir, just to clarify po, no, sa datos po ng DOH, gaano po ba kataas ang bilang ng influenza-like illness sa ngayon sa bansa kung ikukumpara nito mga nakaraang taon?
So yung sa records namin nung naitanong nga yan sa social media, about 135,000 yung reported last year.
Last year.
We're still at 133. So we're not
Okay,
even
no?
breached the numbers last year.
Malayo-layo pa, sir.
Talagang panahon lang talaga. Pagdating ng tag-ulan, talagang panahon yan ng flu-like symptoms. Why? Because we are in enclosed spaces, we avoid we close the windows kasi maulan. And then, pagka nagkakasama-sama, mabilis ang influenza spreads very fast. So if in a school na sarado ang classroom dahil umuulan, poor ventilation, they will really spread to each other. So kailangan huwag talaga pumasok kung may sakit at may symptoms. Ganun din sa workplace.
Yes.
Nagkakahawahan din tayo sa workplace because takot silang hindi makapasok, ma-absent, walang bayad, walang trabaho, walang
Tama,
kita.
sir.
So kailangan mag-mask or some other precaution. But if you're really sick, better to stay home and not... Pagsakay mo lang sa LRT or sa train
And
or
then,
sa bus, pwede
tabi-tabi
mo nang
kayo,
mahawa
sir.
yung mga katabi mo. So everybody protect themselves.
Dahil nga, Sec, may nagsuspend na ng classes. So, nagamit natin yung opportunity para ma-check din yung structural integrity at earthquake preparedness ng mga paaralan. Ano po ba yung rekomendasyon ng mga DOH sa mga paaralan in terms of yung preparedness? Ano po yung maidadagdag natin aside from yung mga naibigay na ng DOST, FIVOX at ng OCD?
Well, of course, yung structure and integrity of the building sa mga ating mga DPWH and DepEd. Pero ang yung emotional resilience, nakita ko yung nag-earthquake sa Baguio. Itong recently lang,
Yeah.
there were 40 high school children that were brought to the emergency department of Baguio General. So na overwhelmed, we had to put up tents. But all of them were just suffering for what we call hyperventilation syndrome or hysteria. It was a mass hysteria. 40 kids. May mga couple na hinimatay. Yun talagang kailangan ng medical check. But you see, if you are in panic, you hyperventilate. That means you breathe very fast. And if you do that and all your classmates panic, diba nakakahawa yan? You can create mass hysteria. So very important talaga na our schools practice itong evacuation drills and that the kids really understand what it is. Lahat naman tayo nakakaramdam ng earthquake. So we're not as vulnerable as a tourist who's never felt an earthquake in his life and then suddenly feel it. Tayo, somehow in our lifetime, nakaramdam na tayo ng earthquake small. But the reaction is the one we need to correct. So, very important. Simple lang yung technique na tinuturo ko sa hyperventilation syndrome. Let a calm person take you out of that hysterical place and then put you in a safer place and then tell you to breathe deeply. Ang tawag ko yung box breathing. 4 seconds inhale, 4 seconds exhale. You do that for several
Pampatulog
times.
din yan.
Well, before sleeping, that's also. So it's a relaxation technique. It's basically a relaxation technique. The treatment to hysteria is relaxation and concentrating on your breathing. So you put them in a quiet place where there is no panic. Kasi nakakahawa talaga yun eh. Makita mo lahat ng classmates mo,
Correct.
nagpapanik, nag-iiyakan.
Mapapasabay ka na
Tapos
din
may
eh.
isang hinimatay, ikaw na rin magpapanik. So if you're the teacher, kailangan alam mo itong mga psychological first aid to treat and calm everybody. Pag yung teacher nagpanik din.
Correct.
Ganun din
Ayun,
yun.
mas mahirap na yan, sir. Kasi teacher na yan eh.
Oo.
So napapanahon at napakahalagang talakayan pero limitado ang ating oras. Maraming salamat po sa inyong oras. Department of Health Secretary Ted Herbosa. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Joey, and thank you, March, and thank you, everyone.